My apartment is in Gramercy Park, New York City. So I wanted my unit to kind of feel like a breath of fresh air every time you open the door. Like, oh, how is this lovely, bright apartment in this old building? As this is the first apartment I've ever lived in without roommates, I almost treat it like my design laboratory. I'll try something, live with it a week, decide I hate it, and do something completely different. It takes a lot of trial and error, but I think we've gotten to a pretty good place. The idea was to make the space feel clean and calm while still reflecting my passion for objects and collections. Most of my belongings are tucked away so that the things I love the most can shine. It's easy for a space this size to feel cluttered, and I've been very cautious of that since day one.
This episode is brought to you by Milanote. It's the new year. The perfect time to refresh our homes. Inspired by Julia's cozy, stylish NYC rental studio, we're using Milanote to create a mood board with some quick and easy ways to refresh any space. First, a fresh coat of paint. Julia chose Skylight by Farrow & Ball, and we're using Milanote's colour picker to add that exact shade to our board. She even painted her IKEA storage units and Home Depot shelves to match, blending them into the space and reducing visual clutter. Next, we're adding her thrifted lamps for the warm, cozy feeling, and a new thrifted coffee table. Julia chose a narrow oval coffee table, which leaves room for hosting friends without overwhelming the space. With their share extension, you can effortlessly save your inspiration no matter where you are. And with Milanote, it's easy to drag and drop images, links, and ideas directly to your board. Start your own New Year refresh with Milanote. Click on the link in the description and try it today.
I live off of the cutest street, and it's kind of like the town center of Gramercy. For being such a quiet, charming neighborhood, it's actually really central. It's right next to Union Square Park. There's a grocery store right downstairs. There's a very cute coffee shop. In my opinion, the building is nothing too special. It's a dark old walk-up and, pretty typical for what you would find in New York City. But the apartment was actually better than it needed to be in some places. Like, there was this beautiful molding surrounding the windows and door frames, great light. There was even a dishwasher, and I knew that it was something I could really work with. I knew I wasn't going to live here forever, so I figured I might as well have fun with it and paint the walls. I must have tried nearly 20 different shades before landing on this one. It's called Skylight by Farrow & Ball, and the irony is that I could actually see myself living with it forever and probably will put this color of paint in my forever home. So the apartment is a studio. There's one main space that includes the kitchen, and then there's a closet and a bathroom. Everyone loves working next to a window, so I thought this would be the perfect place to put my desk. In order to feel an overall sense of calm when walking in the door, I wanted to keep the core pieces in the same muted, cool color family. I usually put my keys and sunglasses in a catch-all basket, and that's sort of my entryway. While I would have loved a larger closet, this one gets the job done. I can't say it always looks pretty and organized, but I keep my shoes, my jackets, my clothes, everything behind the closed door. My sofa is one of my favorite things in this apartment. I love that it's both slouchy and structured, and if you take the back cushions off, it makes for an awesome bed for guests. While my first instinct was to push the sofa up against the end of the bed, I actually decided to leave a pathway between the two pieces of furniture. That way I could walk from the bathroom to the kitchen with ease. That little space between the bed and the sofa just gives the entire apartment some more breathing room. My IKEA cabinets, which are from the Ivar collection, actually came from my last apartment. I took them apart and put them all next to each other, and I love how they create this shallow counter across the wall. I keep everything in these cabinets, from handbags to tools to even wine bottles. After, I think, 8 months of searching, I finally found the perfect coffee table at an antique market in Massachusetts called Brimfield. Because the coffee table's an oval, it kind of allowed me to get away with a larger table in here. When I have friends over for dinner, we'll just sit around the coffee table. My go-to is always a jute rug, but in this apartment, since I could only have one rug, I wanted to make sure that it was really soft and cozy and gave the space a homey vibe. So I went with a plush, dark green Moroccan rug. The kitchen is along the left wall, and in a space like this, every storage opportunity counts. So I've used the little gap between the ceiling and the cabinets for cookbooks and serveware, and I really like how that looks. While it's not the biggest, the kitchen does have everything I need. I have a full-size fridge, a dishwasher, an oven, and even a microwave. Because it's a rental, I only changed one thing in the kitchen, and that was the hardware on the cabinet doors. I got these tiny little chrome balls on Etsy. As subtle as hardware is, you interact with it so often that it kind of made a big difference. I love the drama and the symmetry that my curtains add to the space. They draw the eye up and add a really nice softness and texture. The curtain part is actually more for decoration though. What I really use are the Roman shades. They block out more light and they don't conflict with the radiator on one side and the AC unit on the other. The space between the windows perfectly fits a full-size bed. It's actually a storage bed, so if I pull a rope, the mattress pops up and I can keep all of my towels, throw blankets, and even terracotta pots down there. It's kind of like a magic trick. If anyone should own a bedside table with storage, it's probably me, but no, I decided to just get a little side table with not one drawer. I found it at an antique mall in upstate New York, and I just fell in love with the patina on it. The Tizio lamp is actually one of my very favorite things I've ever owned. I actually got it for free at an office moving sale. Next to the bathroom door, there's this little bit of space that I thought was the perfect place to put a rattan table I bought at an antique store in the Hamptons. Everything that I can't keep in my tiny closet, I keep in this vintage wardrobe. I might upgrade for something taller in the future, but this works for now. On the other side of the bed, I have a spaghetti chair, and it's kind of like a nightstand, but I also usually just use it when a colleague comes over and we need to take a call together. I also switched out the doorknobs to my bathroom and my closet. The first thing I did when I moved in was rip out the broken medicine cabinet and replace it with a brand new one, and that makes all the difference. I've tried to bring a little bit of personality in here and there. I absolutely love my patterned shower curtain, and I have Cabana striped towels. For all the days that I'm not on a photo shoot, you can find me at my desk next to my window. I have a very narrow, long desk from an antique shop in Brooklyn called Horseman Antiques, and I like that it's clear glass on top because it kind of creates the illusion of more space and it keeps things feeling really light and airy. The more industrial blue clamp lamp is actually also vintage, and I had never seen one in this color before. Not to mention, it takes up zero surface space. I actually get asked about the shelves a lot, but the truth is they're just wood that's painted the same color as the wall on simple hardware store brackets. I love how they draw the eye up and they give me a place to show off all of my collections. I found that when designing a small space, it's super helpful to lock in a color palette. I've committed to cool tones in here, and it helps everything feel super cohesive. I really wanted to mix and match with the art. I have pieces of different sizes, shapes, mediums, and they're not all totally balanced. Some things are heavier than others. It's a little off kilter, and I like that. The chessboard is another thing that you wouldn't necessarily think to hang on the wall, but it actually adds just the bit of color the walls needed. As much as I love patterns and bright colors, I've found that it totally overwhelms the space, and it's best to keep it simple. so I try to mix in different textures and shapes where I can. It's all about using your intuition and striking a balance.
Thanks for watching. If you're an architect or designer with a project we could feature, please share it with us at nevertoosmall.com/submissions.